Despite all the tumult in Washington, the economy keeps humming along. With any other president, that would be the dominant headline this week. Still, will the economy nevertheless be the factor that could help rally supporters for the midterms? I spoke earlier with political strategist James Carville. Okay, James, the most predictable question imaginable. 3.7% unemployment, a 49-year low, but against the backdrop of Kavanaugh and Russia, is it still the economy stupid?
Well, I mean, I think it's always, the economy's always a big issue. But I mean, the economy was good when this administration took office. It is better now, but that's as a result of $1 trillion worth of stimulus. And so, there are also a lot of other issues out there that people are affected by and excited about or mad about, or a lot of other things. But understand, this is not economic turnaround. This is just taking something that was good and it's gotten better for sort of predictable outcome to what they did by increasing spending and cutting taxes. But I don't think this is the smartest thing to do in a recovery, but we'll see.
Would it have been better for the GOP if Kavanaugh had failed? Because then the base would have been so livid, so PO'd, they'd have all come out to vote.
You know, that's the money question, Michael. And I just found myself today, to the Democrats, Kavanaugh is worth a lot more alive than dead. And what's going to be very interesting about this is, usually, so you confirm a Supreme Court justice, they go on the Supreme Court, then every now and then you hear about them, they write a decision, and people like it, don't like it, something like that. This is not going to go away. They're not going to stop doing stories on Kavanaugh. They're going to keep him front and center. The Democrats win the House, they'll probably hold some kind of hearings on the fact that a lot of people think that he perjured himself during his confirmation hearings to the Court of Appeals. In this issue, he's not going to go away. And had they defeated him, they would have just picked someone equally as right-wing as Kavanaugh, and it would have rammed him through in a lame duck session. They were not going to get this seat on the Supreme Court. And I think in terms of political optimization, I think today's result is probably as good as you could hope for.
I saw that Marist survey a couple of days ago that said the enthusiasm gap that had been 10 points in July for the Ds had shrunk to 2, but that was before the vote was taken. And that's what I was referring to. I was thinking, okay, but now that Kavanaugh is going to go through, then what to the enthusiasm?
Right. I understand clearly what you're saying. Look, I think some of the resentment against Kavanaugh, people feel like he was treated unfair. I think some of that is going to stick. The other thing is, we're going to be looking at some record high turnout in November in this off year. I can't imagine how high it's going to be because, the argument was the Democrats are really stoked and this stoked the Republicans, and, some of it will recede, but they do a good job of rallying their base and rallying their people, and I suspect they will too. But, watch out, because the Democrats around the country are pretty jacked up right now.
Do you think that one of the reasons that the president, the White House may have tripled down with Kavanaugh was the idea, okay, we're going to lose the House. We're going to lose the House. We may as well go for it in the Senate because those odds are dramatically different. There's an advantage to the Republicans given how many Democrats have to defend themselves in red states. Could that have been part of their calculus?
I think at the end of the day, the carnage, when you look back over it, they can't be really happy with the way this thing is. And you understand, and I'm really serious, I think this is significant. Unlike most Supreme Court appointments, after they sworn in on the Supreme Court, they just recede in the background. Kavanaugh is going to be an issue in 2018. He's going to be an issue in 2020. The Democrats are going to keep digging up stuff. The press is not going to stop all of the things that they're working on about Kavanaugh. It's just one of these amazing things that probably has never happened before in American politics, where a sitting Supreme Court justice is going to be a real issue in coming campaigns.
Lindsey Graham dusted off another of your lines from the old days.
Here's what's personally degrading. This is what you get when you go through a trailer park with a $100 bill. You see, this is not the first time this has happened.
That's actually a reference to something somebody said.
And James Carville.
It didn't go over so well in 2018. What were you thinking when you heard that?
I don't know. You know, I said a lot of things in my life. I was cracking a joke. It was actually about Jennifer Flowers, and I don't think that Dr. Blasey Ford strikes me as a kind of a little bit of a different deal here, you know. But I'm always complimented when people use my lines. I'm glad that you started one of them. Now send them to Graham, and we always like to have a little legacy out there, Michael.
There's gonna be some room issues on that tombstone. We hope it's 100 years from now. But which of these is going to be the final one? I don't know. I got to ask this of James Carville, as a political strategist whose skills are unparalleled. Do you think that the Russians could have pulled off what they pulled off without some kind of assistance within the United States?
No, I mean, it was really highly targeted. I mean, and you know, there's a very good book out by Kathleen Hall Jameson, who's been around with a very respected academic.
Yeah, at Annenberg.
She agrees with Nate Selba. Right, and she says the Russians did throw the election to Trump, that their interference was determinative. We'll keep doing that, but they knew exactly who they were targeting, where they were going. Now, do I know that President Trump himself was doing this? I doubt that, but they had Americans that were helping them every step of the way. They were like targeting African-American voters in Detroit and telling them to vote by text. You know, they knew exactly on social media exactly where they were going and who they were going for and what kind of message it was. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt that they had American assistance. What I'm not prepared to say is that there's no doubt that Trump or his people were involved in this. Mueller will let us know who was involved and how much, and I suspect that he already knows that. I'm not saying that Trump people could very well. I'm not saying they weren't, but I know there was professional American help. I'm just not certain as to who it was.
Hey, James, thank you so much for being here.
Right. Michael, always a pleasure. You have a great show. Love doing it. Thank you.